Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're tracing a traveler's absolutely doomed, chilling journey right into an inescapable trap. We're going to see exactly what happens when the universe blares its loudest warning sirens and somebody just completely ignores them. So, I've got to ask you right off the bat. When the universe tells you to run, do you actually listen? Like, at what specific point do you hit the brakes, throw it in reverse, and get out of Dodge? We all like to think we've got top-notch survival instincts, right? We think, oh, sure, if I saw a giant red flag, I'd turn around immediately. But human curiosity is this incredibly powerful and, frankly, sometimes fatal flaw. Just keep that question tucked in the back of your mind as we trace the footsteps of a traveler who, well, definitely did not listen. Section 1. Welcome to Scary Town. The journey begins. Okay, this right here is the exact moment things go horribly wrong. A lone car is just sitting there on a dark, rain-slicked street. You've got the brake lights glowing in the gloom, and the town is literally advertising its malice. I mean, there's a massive blood-spattered sign that explicitly says, "Welcome to Scary Town," with a very stark, very clear subheader, "Leave before dark." But guess what? The sun's already gone. The sky is pitch black, bats are circling the clock tower, and right there in the middle of the street, just standing in the headlights, is a spectral figure waiting in the rain. This isn't some subtle, hey, maybe head back hint. This is a blaring alarm. And yet, the brake lights go off, and the car rolls forward. Section 2, ignoring the red flags, escalating danger. So the threat level absolutely skyrockets from here. Our traveler leaves the town center and heads down this desolate, pitch-black road through the woods. The only warning is this rusted sign flatly stating, "Turn back now." The whole scene is lit by a single street lamp, and it's illuminating that exact same terrifying spectral figure just standing motionless in the distance. It's incredibly ominous. But then, that polite roadside warning gives way to pure, unadulterated terror inside an abandoned train tunnel. The ambient light is completely gone. It's oppressive, it's claustrophobic, and the walls are violently covered in bloody graffiti, practically screaming, "Run, run, run." I mean, the universe isn't just suggesting anymore, it is literally begging this person to flee. But they kept going. Just take a second to let that really sink in. Past the bloody welcome sign, past the ghost in the freezing rain, past the "turn back now" board, and straight through a tunnel screaming, "Run." The psychology of that is just staggering to me. It's the absolute triumph of morbid curiosity over basic self-preservation. And honestly, it seals their fate. Section 3. The Haunted Hospital Walls. The Inevitable Trap. Because of that foolish persistence, the traveler winds up right inside an abandoned medical facility. It's super bleak. You have these rows of empty metal beds just left to rust in the heavy shadows. The whole color palette is incredibly cold, basically drained of all life, relying on these eerie, sickly blues. But the real focal point? The window at the far end of the room. It's the only source of light, and frankly, the only escape route. And standing directly in front of it, completely blocking out the outside world, is that exact same ghostly figure. The trap has officially been sprung. There's nowhere left to drive. And then, the perspective sharply shifts. All that cold, quiet tension just explodes into absolute blood-soaked horror. This room is practically a slaughterhouse. Above a single, stained bed, the words "I saw you" are smeared across the peeling wallpaper in deep, heavy red. And right next to it, on the left, this horrifying, screaming, spectral face is manifesting straight out of the grime on the wall. This is the exact moment the traveler realizes they were never just exploring. They were being hunted. Every single step they took into Scary Town was being monitored. I saw you. I want you to just imagine the absolute dread washing over our traveler at this exact, inescapable moment. It's that horrific realization that the ghost in the rain, the figure in the woods, the bloody signs, they weren't just random environmental hazards. They were the eyes of something much, much larger, watching this person willingly walk right into the dead center of its web. Section 4. The Skeleton Broadcaster. The final boss? Because here it is, the final boss of this descent into madness. Turns out, this wasn't just a random ghost story, it was a full-blown production. We're looking at a terrifying, hooded skeleton with piercing, glowing red eyes and these incredibly sharp claws. And what's it doing? It's leaning over a desk branded with the dripping words "Scary Town," speaking directly into a vintage broadcasting microphone.
The travelers' entire horrific journey, the signs they ignored, the sheer terror they felt in the hospital, it wasn't some private nightmare. The whole thing was being broadcast live to parts unknown.
Let's define exactly who we're dealing with here. This is the broadcaster. He is the inescapable, skeletal voice of Scarytown who dictates the fate of those who ignore the warning signs. This entity is the grand architect of our traveler's doom. He literally takes the misery of lost souls, people too foolish or too stubborn to turn around when the universe is screaming at them to run, and turns it into his own twisted entertainment. And the big takeaway here? It perfectly reflects the consequences of ignoring those red flags in life. The broadcaster doesn't drag you kicking and screaming into Scarytown. He just sets up the microphone and waits for you to drive yourself there.
So we end right where we began, with a choice. The traveler made theirs, and now their screams are just another part of the show. You know, life's warning signs are rarely written in actual blood, but they are always there if we look closely enough. The broadcast is live. The question is, are you tuning in, or are you finally hitting the brakes and turning around? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep your eyes on the road, pay attention to the signs, and please, never ignore the red flags.